guys, and welcome back to my channel. Paul here again, and a new video. I didn't mention this before on Facebook and everywhere else. I am ready to build another DIY board, and I'm welcoming you to take this journey with me to look at what I'm doing, and if you want, use some information in my videos to maybe help you to build your own. And yes, this is a real Russian Soviet Army hat. So guys, videos like this can take hours and hours, so I'm going to do is I'm going to break down my new DIY build videos into sections. This one here is just introduction and pretty much a list of parts you will need to buy to get a DIY e-board built. So please listen, take a look. I will tell you roughly how much it will cost you, so you can decide, do you want to bother or not? So what do I expect from my new DIY? She's definitely going to be an off-road board, quite a large board, but easy to carry. I will run it at really high power. I want 6,000 to 7,000 watts of power on this board. I will run 12S battery, so we'll expect a lot of torque and also good braking. I think I'll get 8 to 10 miles off-road range, and if I will swap over to street wheels, I expect about 15 miles range on the battery charge. Top speed probably 30 plus, so 30 mile, 35 mile an hour. Definitely, I already got one DIY board that does that easily. This board here will have bigger motors, so I expect a bit more speed. Do you need to go this fast? I don't know, you guys decide. So let's take a look at the parts. So the big pile of parts you see in the front of you is exactly what you will need to build a DIY board. Let's go over them just really quickly, and I will then make videos describing and talking about each part individually. So the main parts that you will need if you want to build a DIY board are motors. I went for 6374 motors this time, 190 kV censored. Next part you will need are wheels. I'm going for Evolve all-terrain kit wheels that do already come with the wheel pulleys, and I'm going to use that. eBay, £120 I believe, delivered in a perfect condition, cannot complain. You will also need a remote. There are different types of remotes out there. I will cover remotes in my other video, but for this build I'm going for Inertian Mini or Nano X, as you might know, and that's a little baby right here. I'll cover that in more detail very soon. As a battery source, I'm gonna go for Graphene 8000 milliamp battery 6S. I will connect two of these batteries in series, and that will give me 12S battery. In order to do that, you'll require a series connector. You can solder one up yourself. I wanted to save some time and actually bought an adapter for it that goes plug, and you got yourself 12S battery. £3 Hobby King, why not? So that's the power and the motors now discussed. As for the trucks, I'm going to go this time for a wider trucks. For starters, you need wider trucks, minimum 218mm, to accommodate for two 6370 motors. So this time, torque boards, 218mm trucks, front and rear. Very nice. You will also need some belts. I did not rely on Evolve on the belts, so I've ordered myself all different lengths of belts. These are 5M, pretty much fits any board. 15mm wide, much thicker than I normally use, just because I expect a lot of power on this board. I will cover the belts in a separate video. You don't have to go out there to Evolve or any other companies to buy the belts. You can buy them somewhere else. I will discover, or I will unveil the secret in my future videos. You will also require some cables. I'm going for 10 gauge power cable. This is a multi string cable, so it's a lot of little tiny strings in the cable itself, so it's very flexible. It's 200 degrees Celsius rated cable, and I've got 5 meters of it. And you will also require the motor pulleys. I have decided to go for 15 tooth motor pulleys. Bear in mind that the Evolve kit I'm going to use has a 66 tooth wheel pulley. So with the motor pulleys, because these have the key slot, pretty much the slot that stops the pulley from spinning around. I don't really like the grab screws. They break, they come loose. I hate those things. So what you will need is 2 little tiny keys. These keys do slide into the motor shaft slot. I will cover the motors and the keys in a separate video. You will also require, obviously, some motor mounts. This is pretty much what goes in your trucks, and you put your motors into these areas here, and that's what keeps the motors without moving about. I went this time for street wing, very durable and good quality motor mounts. They also got the squarey bit, an adapter that will work perfectly on these. These are the clones of caliber 2 trucks, and these motor mounts will be perfect because the trucks are square and the adapters are square, so it's going to stop them from moving around. Perfect. What I also have picked up is the spark-free XT90 connectors. I got a 12 pack of them. I don't trust normal ones. These are much stiffer, so they don't come apart as easily as normal ones, and also they don't spark up if you would connect the batteries together. Perfect, get some of them. I've also picked up 2 low battery voltage indicators with alarm. I will always have them in my fireproof bag. I'm going to have my batteries. Guys, be careful with LiPo batteries, so in any batteries they do catch fire. So this is a fire retardant bag. I will also have the alarms in them, so if the voltage drops below 3.7 volt, the alarm will go off and I'll know my batteries are low. At the same time, you guys will require some bushings for the trucks. Yes, trucks do come with original bushings with them, but normally they are quite, yeah, you probably know what word I'm after, not that good. So I went for original California made orangutan medium softness bushings this time. On my other DIY I got the yellow ones, which are hard. They're really good. The reason why you want really good bushings is because if you want to go high speed, you don't want the wheel wobble, but at the same time you don't want to tighten up the bushings too hard, because then you cannot carve. So we'll see how we get on. Next thing, and very important thing, obviously the ESC. That's your speed controller. What I'm holding in my hands is not the speed control I'm going to use. I had to have something in my hands while I'm talking about it. The one I want to use is in the post. I'm going for FlipSky 6.6 Plus. That's the newest and the most upgraded VSC they've got on the market. It's a dual 100 amp per motor rated, so it's a 200 amp rated VESC. I will cover it in full detail when I get the delivery. I'll do the unboxing and review and everything else. So here we go. Next, absolutely important part are the bearings. These are the wheel bearings. These here are the Bronson bearings. Guys, I have a video already on my channel covering bearings. I've used all sorts of different ones. My favorite ones are the Super Reds by Bones. I have tried the Slime, the ABIC 9s, the Evolve ones, the Tramper ones, all kind of different ones. Bronson, have not tried yet, but just on a quick test on the table, they performed really well. So I'm excited about this, to be honest. One other thing I have not mentioned to you guys as yet. This board is going to be 100% DIY. I'm not going to go for anything pre-made for this board, even the lights. So, as you guys know, especially the guys who already subscribed to my channel, I have covered safety lights and different ideas that I had on how to make normal lights to be skateboard lights with different adapters I came up with, and this works really well. This time I have went even further. I have some lights that I'm going to be modifying to fit my new DIY board. One of them is a GoPro underwater camera light. It is really bright and 100% waterproof. Also a really bright bicycle or push bike rear light. I still need to adapt them, so stick around, you'll see what's going to come out of all this, but I'm quite excited about it. By the way, just a quick spoiler, this light here can also hold a GoPro camera, so very nice feature. As you will also need some screws that will hold the motors to the motor mounts. Sometimes you get them with the motor, sometimes you don't, so take a look what comes in the package. You will need some cables as well. This is the cables, the adapters for the sensors of the motors back to EC, depending what EC are you using. You will also require some red and white cables. I have ordered a bunch of cables from Hobby King, 12 gauge, 10 gauge, red and black. You'll require that to wire your electronics, but we'll get to electronics just a bit later. And now one of the most important parts of any skateboard is the deck. What I've decided to go for, guys, is the Atlantic Rift off-road or mountain pushboard. If you guys think carefully, sometimes you can find deals where you don't think you could. I was always looking for decks, just decks on their own, and they are quite expensive. And I came across this beautiful 105mm long drop-down deck, 9-ply, made in Germany, with a cool design on the bottom of the deck and quite cool grip tape design. And most importantly, this company was established in 1979, and this is exactly when I was born. And I said, I'm getting it. For £36 UK, I got myself a full board. Obviously, I'm not going to use the struts, I'm not going to use these tiny little wheels, but this board meant to be ridden downhill or off-road, so should be quite strong. This is a 9-ply, but I'm very excited because it is a drop-down deck. It's very wide, it's 230mm, and from nose to nose 105mm, so over a meter. Not sure what it is in inches, Google it. That's pretty much most of the parts covered. The only things I did not speak about that the bits I will not need, but you might, depending on the style of the board you want to build. Number one is your battery pack enclosure. There are different types of them, solid or flexible. For this build you would have needed flexible one if you want to mount the battery pack underneath your deck. This is a drop down deck and I don't want anything underneath this deck. Bear with me, you'll see when I start building. Another thing you will need is the ESC cover or the enclosure. Sometimes they are combined, ESC and the battery. So this is something I didn't mention and I don't have because I'm not going to use them. I might use the ESC enclosure, we'll see, I don't know. Stay tuned and you'll see what I'm going to come up with. One more thing is the anti-spark or the spark-free switch. Luckily the Philips Sky 6.6 Plus, the one I've ordered for this build, does have one already inbuilt, which is great. For my previous DIY board, I have used a 65 amp rated anti-spark switch. This is something that protects your EC if for some whatever reasons you would have a spike in the amperage of batteries, goes crazy, it won't burn it out, in simple terms. At the same time, this is something that you press and it activates your board, so sends the power from the pack, from the battery pack, to your EC and to your motors. You can also use a just a key which you can make out of the XT90. I have used that as well. It's very simple and cheap. It's the anti-spark connector. That's one of them with that green marking on it. So you make a loop and you break your positive. So when you pull it out, you break the positive, so your board stops living. And you plug it back in, it's live again. That's it pretty much. So guys, this is it for this video. It's just an introduction. I will start building this board and I will make videos while I'm going alone, because there are a couple of things that we need to do to make all this work. And we'll start with trucks. Next video all about trucks, motor mounts, and mounting all that on the deck. So mechanical part of it first, then electronics. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe if you want to see any more. Like or dislike, but if you do dislike, let me know why. Thank you guys, and ride safely. Bye.